All right, guys, let's talk about a team that I think is going to be a little bit surprising next year. It's a team that no one really talks about enough. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, in my last season preview, I did the Utah Jazz. I got a suggestion from one of the watchers that they wanted to do a season preview about the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's who we're going to talk about today. If you want to let me know in the comments, let me know who else you want to talk about in the next video. But today we're doing the Timberwolves. Oh, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps me out. Like the video. Hit the bell. That would be great. All right, today we're going to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that I think has a chance to be really surprising this year, a team that I think has some weapons and a chance to really grow. And there's a few reasons why. The first reason I want to talk about it, and the first thing that comes to mind is karl-Anthony Towns and everything that he does on the floor. But I want to talk about the new head coach. Chris Finch was one of those coaches that to me jumped out as someone that might be really, really good. And really it came down to one play. As someone who covers the Utah Jazz on a game-to-game basis, daily basis, really, and every single team I watch, every single coach, every single team that goes against the Jazz, I see different things from different coaches. There's a specific play the Utah Jazz run with Rudy Gobert where they set it up with motion. It eventually ends up with Rudy Gobert rolling to the rim, and 9 times out of 10, it goes easily. It's an easy bucket for Rudy Gobert. It's something they run almost every single game and works. One of the first times I saw that play get scouted out and stopped was by Chris Finch after he got hired by the Minnesota Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert. Now, maybe I'm a little bit in awe of Chris Finch because the Timberwolves just dominated the Utah Jazz both times they played last year. They just crushed the Utah Jazz both times. And they had the Jazz pretty much scouted out and the talent was incredible. So maybe I'm a little bit biased in terms of how good the Minnesota Timberwolves are, but I really think those games showed you what the Minnesota Timberwolves can be. They have a coach who can scout out teams and who can help this team become better. It was a kind of a weird way they got Chris Finch from the Toronto Raptors kind of mid-season. It was something that really I've never seen before how they got him, but it's clear they knew he was going to be good. And I think he has a chance to be awesome. I think, Ryan Saunders, I don't know what Timberwolves fans feel about Ryan Saunders. It felt like that was just kind of a rudderless ship that wasn't really going anywhere. Let me know in the comments what you think. But I really feel like this coach is someone that can set them up to be successful. And I think that's the first step you need in terms of being able to become a team that can win games. You need a culture in your whole organization. And I know that the Timberwolves have gotten a new ownership with Alex Rodriguez. And we've all seen that funny video with Anthony Edwards not knowing who he actually is. But I think that this is a team that has a chance to be really solid with this coaching staff. And maybe if they have some sort of established front office that can help, this coach do what he needs to do to win, it's great. And I think that's the first reason why this team is going to win more games this year than they did last year. And maybe even push to be in that play-in game. To me, if this team is healthy, has a real shot to be a borderline playoff team and be much better than people think. The major thing that everyone talks about, we've already kind of touched on it, is karl-Anthony Towns. karl-Anthony Towns is going to be the best player on this team, most likely, unless Anthony Edwards makes a big jump. He's the guy. And I think the way that this team wins is offense. They have absolutely every tool to be an incredible offensive team, and everything starts with karl-Anthony Towns. Everyone talks about karl-Anthony Towns' defense, deficiencies, and all these things, and what they wish he was on the defensive end. You know what you need to do is appreciate what he does on the offensive end. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Not best three-point shooting centers, just flat out best three-point shooters in the league from the center position. And he can do a lot of things on the offensive end that help you win the game. He can get buckets inside. He's got just nice touch, and he's good and a good enough passer. But that three-point shooting from Towns is absolutely lethal. He opens up the floor for everyone else. And that's why you've always got to respect the offense of the Minnesota Timberwolves. If they can be even average defensively, this is a team that has potential to be incredible offensively, and it all starts with Karl-Anthony Towns playing from outside in. It gives a lot of teams problems. There's a lot of teams out there that have a hard time covering it. And so him being able to shoot threes like that and be able to do other things, and if he can rebound at a solid level, makes him just a really potent weapon at the center position. All right, guys, before we move on, it's time to talk about Manscaped and manscaped.com and my promo code HoopsNerd20. Guys, if you haven't already, go down and use it. It saves you 20% plus free shipping. Let's do the read. It's always an adventure. Attention listeners across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston. Do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with the 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with a Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff. I don't know why I did that. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com/hoopsnerd20 for 20% off plus free shipping, guys. Go to it. Go do it. It'll be worth it. Get 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/hoopsnerd20. That's 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/hoopsnerd20 for a clean trinity and beyond. Your space balls will thank you. Guys, go use that promo code. We've also got our the URL manscaped.com/hoopsnerd20, hoopsnerd20. It honestly will save you 20-30 bucks. Your man zone will be smooth like you couldn't believe. It'll make you feel good, and you'll be a baller like you've never been before. Guys, go do it. I would appreciate it. All right, guys, let's keep going. 2 things they did. One of the interesting things about the Timberwolves is they really didn't make any significant free agency signings, unless you consider a 2-way contract for Nathan Knight. I don't know who he is. Really, the only transactions we saw, because I believe that the picks for the Timberwolves went to the Golden State Warriors this year. You saw one trade that not a lot of people talked about, but I actually like. They traded Ricky Rubio for Taurean Prince. I know that Timberwolves fans probably have mixed feelings about losing Ricky Rubio. I don't know how you feel. Let me know in the comments. I feel like Ricky Rubio is not quite in his prime anymore, and he kind of is what he is. And maybe he can help the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they get Taurean Prince, 2nd-round pick, and some cash. I like Taurean Prince a lot, and it wasn't that long ago that Taurean Prince was in Brooklyn hitting threes at near 40% level. Really solid 3-point shooter, that guy. And he's big and brings size at the wing. If there's one thing teams need, it's size at the wing that can shoot. And so you bring in a 3-and-D player that can guard and shoot. Just a really solid pickup for them. And for Ricky Rubio, to me, that's great, because that you're just not getting the shooting value from Ricky Rubio, and you're not really setting yourself up to play better. And honestly, Ricky Rubio has fallen off defensively in the last 3 or 4 years. He just has. And so I feel like you bring in a 3-and-D wing that can play off of Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell, and it's perfect. It's a guy that can play off of them or come off the bench, whichever you want. You could probably even play some small ball 4, and all of a sudden you've got great shooting from every position on the floor, which is incredible. If this team is well coached, they have a chance to have the best offense in the NBA with all this shooting. It's incredible. And really, the guy that I think has a chance to take this team over the top after you bring in Taurean Prince is this guy right here. Anthony Edwards is going to have a chance to be just an absolute monster this year. Really, everything that hinges and every chance the Timberwolves have of making the playoffs this year hinges on Anthony Edwards, and if he can take another step, because we saw all the signs of a fantastic NBA player. You know, we saw those games against the Jazz, like we talked about, where he absolutely beat the Jazz on his own. I watched it with my own eyes, watched him carry this Timberwolves team to a victory over the number 1 team in the NBA record-wise. So he has a chance and has shown all the signs that he can be great. We saw the incredible dunk over Yuta Watanabe, or whatever his name was, where it was absolutely one of the most insane dunks I've ever seen. This guy has athleticism that is just unreal. And when you have shooting around him in Taurean Prince, Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, you have shooting all over the floor, and that's going to open up lanes to the rim. And when you have this type of explosive athleticism, he has a chance to be an incredible have an incredible sophomore season. I'm excited to watch him. And it makes sense if you think about it. If you have Ricky Rubio on your team, no one's guarding Ricky Rubio. And that's clogging up lanes and going to make things more difficult for everyone on the floor. They improve that shooting with Taurean Prince and give Anthony Edwards a chance to be awesome this year. He absolutely could be just an absolute stud for them. So I thought that was a nice pickup. The other pickup that was more recent was the trade for Patrick Beverley. The Grizzlies send Patrick Beverley to the Timberwolves for Jarrett Culver and Juancho Hernangomez. Now, for me, and for the Wolves fans, you're probably frustrated that Jarrett Culver did not really turn into much. I believe he was like number 6 overall pick. That's painful that he did not turn into anything. And that sucks. And you're turning Jarrett, but the nice thing is that you're turning Jarrett Culver and another role player in Juancho Hernangomez into a solid defensive role player in Patrick Beverley. I like this because it helps maybe make the Timberwolves a little bit better defensively over the long haul of the season. If it can make them average defensively, if they can have an average defense and have times where Anthony Edwards, maybe he takes the next step and really becomes just a lockdown defender. Maybe you have Patrick Beverley on the floor at the same time as well and play off of Anthony Edwards and shoot the ball because we know he can shoot threes. It makes sense. And this is a guy that will not hurt your spacing while also helping your defense. So I like the move. I think it's actually low-key one of the better moves this offseason. And, it's the Timberwolves, so no one's talking about it nationally a lot. But I thought it was really good. And I think this team all of a sudden has like 6 or 7 guys that you can play and make and win a lot of games with. And if you can stay healthy over the length of the season, it's great. I also feel like they have a little bit of depth on this team that's pretty nice. I saw some games with Naz Reid where he looked like a real stud. And he's a guy that can come in, maybe even play next to Karl-Anthony Towns. But at worst, you have a really nice defensive bench unit in Patrick Beverley, Naz Reid. You can bring in Josh Okogie, who can defend as well. And all of a sudden, you've got a second unit that can really work. And I like having D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards on the floor with that second unit as well, because both those guys can get their shot. And Anthony Edwards has a chance to be just really great. And really, everything hinges on Anthony Edwards, because if he can make a jump and become like a top 25, top 30 player, if he can get in there, that's going to be a big jump for him. But if he can do that, that's big time for the Timberwolves. And finally, D'Angelo Russell. Can D'Angelo Russell be healthy this year? He missed a lot of time last year. And I don't like when I hear people I just feel like it seems like when D'Angelo Russell was on the Brooklyn Nets, it was like everyone loved him. Or when he was on the Golden State Warriors, you hear how great he was and how much his shooting helps players on the floor and all these things. All of a sudden he goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves and he's not as good. No, he's the same player who was an all-star in Brooklyn, who can hit threes, can get the ball at the end of games and get you buckets at the end of games. The guy is actually clutch as could be. I love D'Angelo Russell and I love his game and what he brings to the table. It's phenomenal. And he brings that shooting that Anthony Edwards is going to need to help Anthony Edwards take the next step. But I like them as a backcourt. At worst this season, the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be a lot of fun. And they're going to be a team that just has incredible firepower. And you just hope that they can stay healthy, because if they can win a lot of games. Guys, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know. I want to give a shout out now to our all-stars who support the channel. If you want to support the channel, just hit the join channel and you can support or be a part of the live stream chats when we do the live streams. Anyways, a big thank you to Kelsey Hamer, the Hammer, and one Anton Warren, Ezekiel Rice-Sibe, the man from Down and Under, JT Buckets Wardell, Austin R. Grant, editor extraordinaire, Eric C., the C stands for champion, Donald Schooley, schooling all of us, DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arrizaga, Mi Amigo de Abajo, Lee Christensen, Driving the Lane, Ryan Perry, the legend, Justin Ty H, Justin Time, and Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur, Robert Hall of Fame, and DW, Jazz going all the way. Guys, like I said, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate it. Hit the bell so you know when videos go live. I will talk to you next time. Oh, and let me know who you want me to talk about next. It depends on you.